Hi guys, welcome to Full Time Devils. I am Adam McCullough. Manchester United have lost the derby at the Etihad 3-1, and it was a pretty dismal derby day for Manchester United despite a little bit of a rally in the second half. When we were 2-0 down, we got a penalty, Martial tucked it away, 2-1. We tried to get back into it, but it was too little, too late for Manchester United, and the damage was already done. And Manchester City, you would say, as if you're watching the game as a neutral, thoroughly deserved their victory. United were poor today, and I think we feared that when we saw the starting lineup. The starting lineup had no Paul Pogba, no Alexis Sanchez, no Juan Mata, no Romelu Lukaku. Paul Pogba wasn't even on the bench for Manchester United. And the midfield area, we had Fellaini, Matic and Herrera. We were lacking in that real creativity. The only one that you would think could pass the ball was Ander Herrera, and despite the fact he was trying to break things up, he was trying to bring that energy, he wasn't great in possession of the ball today. Manchester United weren't great in possession of the ball today. In the first half, we gave it away far too often. We didn't press them enough. We didn't make them work on the ball enough. We were giving the ball away far too easy when we had it in midfield in the final third. We were giving up possession, whether it was Ander Herrera, Anthony Martial, Jesse Lingard, Nemanja Matic. We kept giving the ball away, and it was frustrating to watch. And City got their goals as well, their first two goals at vital periods in the game. They scored their first after 10 minutes of dominance. 10 minutes of dominance they had after the first whistle, and their goal came through David Silva, and it was a goal that you could feel was coming. And after that came, you thought, shit, 1-0 down after 10 minutes, you feared the worst. You thought Manchester United were going to go on and it could be 2, 3, who knows, even 4-0. But it seemed to level out a little bit. Manchester United had a little bit more of the ball. We won a few free kicks, but we weren't creating anything. The closest we went was a Chris Smalling header which went over the bar. Anthony Martial had a few openings, but whenever he tried to open up and get the shot in, it was blocked, and there was little else there to be created. Lingard didn't have the best of games. Martial didn't have the best of games in the first half. Rashford, he was running a lot. He was trying to make things happen. He was tracking people down, but it just wasn't enough. And City were much more comfortable in possession of the ball, playing it around. And it shows you how well drilled they are, how well coached every single player is in comparison to Manchester United. It's one of the things I've been frustrated about. We don't seem to play in patterns. We don't seem to have a way of playing football. We don't seem to know how we're going to go from A to B to C. How are we going to get from defence to attack? Little, methods. And in the last couple of weeks, we've had Luke Shaw, we've had Pogba, we've had Martial down that left-hand side, trying to make things happen, and that was broken up today because Paul Pogba wasn't in the game. Luke Shaw picked up a booking in the first half, and he misses the game against Crystal Palace now, which is a frustrating thing. But United overall weren't good enough today. Second half, after a couple of minutes, we go 2-0 down. Sergio Aguero with the goal. Now Gary Neville picked out David De Gea's keeping at the near post, and I don't think David De Gea could do much with it, to be honest. It could have hit him and he could have saved it, but the shot came in at such a speed. It was a fantastic finish by Aguero, and it was 2-0 to City. Again, fearing the worst, but United had a little bit of a rally. We brought on Romelu Lukaku for Jesse Lingard. There was no surprise by that substitution because Jesse hadn't had the best of games. And then Martial picked him out with a fantastic pass. It was the best bit of play Martial produced in the game, and it was a great run by Romelu Lukaku. We got onto the ball. It was an instant impact from the substitute. He got round the keeper and the keeper brought him down. Martial put the penalty away. United were back into it a little bit. We rallied. We won a few free kicks. We were trying to get balls into the box, but we weren't doing enough with the ball. Mata and Alexis came on, but I felt it was too late. I would have brought them on a little bit earlier. Maybe as soon as we went 2-1 down. Try and make that impact now. Try and make the difference, but we didn't. We waited a little bit longer, and then United fell asleep. Chris Smalling got dragged out of position. Matic fell deep, fell asleep, and then Gundogan had acres of space to tuck the ball away and make it 3-1 to City, and United were done. And Smalling has been a player I've criticised a lot in the past. Matic has been a player that I've criticised a lot in the past. And you've got to ask, how are they still starting for Manchester United week in, week out? when they keep showing these things, this ability to fall asleep. Now, Eric Bailly, I know he wasn't in great form. He wasn't in the squad again today. Why hasn't he been given a chance again to prove himself? Because we've seen how good he can be. Victor Lindelof looked a little bit better today. But, you know, alongside Smalling, who was constantly getting dragged out of position, and then Matic that was dropping in front of him and not providing any protection at all, it was difficult to protect that back four. And when you're playing against a team like Manchester City, a team that are so well drilled, a team that are so comfortable in possession, a team that have magicians like David Silva that can just pick a pass and pick a hole in your defence, pace from Raheem Sterling, the likes of Leroy Sané coming off the bench, it's danger. It's absolute danger. Ashley Young out of his depth again today at fullback, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He's not a fullback. He should not be in that defence, especially in big games like this. And it showed you there's a big golfing class in the coaching of the teams. There's a big golfing class in the money that's been spent on the defences as well. And I agree with Jose Mourinho when he says he needs stronger defenders. He needs signings there. But also the defenders that you have signed, Eric Bailly, what is going on with him? Why isn't he playing? Look, no one expected us to win this game today, especially when we saw the 11 with no Paul Pogba in the team. But that is a frustrating thing. We shouldn't be in these games thinking, we fought back, at least it's not 3-4-0. We shouldn't be in these games, you know, thinking, it'd be great to get a point. We should be in these games looking to hold our own, because the money has been spent in certain, you look in areas of the pitch, we've got fantastic players. The football has to be better. Today we opted to go with Matic and Fellaini. We could have went with Fred. We spent £50 million on Fred, someone that can pass the ball. Why aren't we allowing the likes of Herrera and Fred to build relationships? Because when Pogba's gone, we've got no one that can pass the ball then in that midfield area. Because Fellaini, look, he has his uses at times, he's great as a plan B, but he can't pass the ball. Matic, he did some good things today in terms of intercepting and blocking things out, but then he falls asleep for their third goal, and in possession is not good enough. And it's frustrating. We've got players that can pass the ball, and it sounds contradictory because today Herrera gave the ball away so much. But if we have Herrera and Fred playing more together, don't you think we'd then see a midfield that passes the ball more? Don't we? I think we would. So it's frustrating, especially after, you know, the euphoria of winning in Turin and, you know, having a couple of good results and a spin. But this result isn't surprising. It isn't surprising, and things have to improve at Manchester United if we want to compete in these games against the likes of Manchester City and not just hoping to pull something out of the bag, because that wasn't good enough today. So yeah, it needs to be a lot better, and today the basics just weren't even there. The basics weren't there. Players making simple errors. Why are you making, you know, just passes, 5-yard passes, and you're not making them? It needs to be better in these big games, and it just wasn't good enough today. Jay says, how embarrassing. The defence is shocking, says another comment. 12-point margin from City with 12 games played. Is it only 12 games played? Jesus Christ, that is really bad, isn't it? We're a third of the way into the season and we're already 12 points off top spot. Did Wolves beat Arsenal in the end? Because if they did, that means they're 2 points behind us. How bad is that? Oh my God. It's awful, isn't it? And it was always the way in the league. After the league campaign started so badly, it was always going to be the way, in the terms that, you know, you lose a game, you're playing catch-up again, especially if you lose a game against one of your rivals like like Manchester City. You're then going to be playing more catch-up, and it was a 6-pointer today. If we win it, we're 6 points behind them. We lost it, we're 12 points behind them, and 7 points off top four, as Mark's pointed out in the comments, which is quite frankly not good enough for Manchester United, and things need to improve. We've got, I think the next game is it against Crystal Palace. I have to double check. Let me just double check that. The next game is against Crystal Palace at home. Then we've got Young Boys at home, Southampton away, Arsenal at home, Fulham at home, Valencia away. So those are 6 games, 4 of them at home, that we should be expecting. Sorry, did I say 4? Yeah, 4 at home, which we should be expecting to get wins out of. If we can't go on a run of wins now, then that is frustrating. Really frustrating. Yeah, guys, let us know what you're thinking anyway. Get your comments in. Let us know your thoughts. Bill says it was humiliating. Ed and Moo out, says Peter. Phil for Young is not a defender, says Braz. If it becomes mathematically impossible to qualify for the Champions League, should Jose be sacked? Says one of the comments. You guys answer that in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget that Radio Gaz is at the Etihad today doing fan cams. I wasn't there, still recovering from last night, the boxing, and I never had a ticket for the game, so I am at home. But Radio Gaz is there today, getting fan cams, and he'll be getting the thoughts of the away end as well as they come out of the Etihad Stadium after City beat United 3-1 on a disappointing derby day. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget as well, we have got a new Full-Time Devils WhatsApp channel as well. The link's in the description. If you click the link in the description, you can join the WhatsApp channel and be a part of the WhatsApp Full-Time Devil community. I'm a part of it as well. You get little updates and things like that, and you can chip in and let them know what you want them to send. Amar Preet says it's our worst defensive start since 1966. I don't know if that's true, but if it is true, it shows you how bad our defence is at the moment, and it's a particular area that we need to improve on in January. We need to strengthen in that area. We needed to do it in the summer. That's why it's frustrating. If the board are going to go out and spend money on a defender in January, why not fucking do it in the summer? That's why, whilst I do criticise Jose Mourinho for certain things, I do kind of understand some of his frustrations over other things as well. And we should have had a centre half. Anyway, guys, it's been a disappointing day, especially after Bournemouth wins and Juventus wins. We've got to bounce back. Hopefully we do that against Crystal Palace. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. And Gaz is getting those fan cams in. See you later.